I just hear so many conversations right now about politics and whose fault is it? The last president, the future president, no matter where you live in the world. Is it in the States, is it the Republicans or the Democrats, the liberals or the conservatives? Is it because my mom and dad didn't give me the foundation for success? Is it because the economy shifted? Is it because technology has taken over the world? Man, we come up with so many ways to make it someone else's fault. No one is going to make it easy for you. No one owes you crap. If you want another level in life, the best thing you could do is put all the responsibility on yourself. It's the most liberating thing in the entire world when you're not expecting anything, and maybe even expect that people around you will let you down, that it won't work out. Because listen, in life, there are two types of people, and I think you realize that. Those that complain, those that blame, those that are expecting something, those that want a handout, and those that quietly just take the lumps, have to learn through their own experience. Those that are called dreamers, wishers, and sometimes capitalists and entrepreneurs, which in today's world has kind of got a bad stigma. Isn't that terrible? The thing that made the country I live in, America, the greatest country in the world, innovative people who are going after their dreams with no restrictions, not held back, put their everything on the line, risk all they have to create momentum, to create success, to create jobs for people, to fuel the economy. Sometimes they're the bad people in today's world, while there's a group of people waiting for a handout from those that are willing to take the chance. Need motivation? Watch a Top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because in my first business, I was making $300 a month. I quit on my business partner, and the thing that saved me was studying the stories of super successful entrepreneurs. So I hope that this story today helps give you the motivation you need, because I still need it too myself. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Dean Graziosi, and my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy.
Listen, I'm just going to say it like it is. If you went to college and you worked your tail off, you didn't go out drinking, you didn't go out partying, you didn't stay up all night, you weren't taking, Adderall during the day to stay awake and something else at night and then partying till 4 o'clock in the morning, and you put the focus in, you put the energy in, and you got straight A's. Good for you. Congratulations. You took ownership. Maybe you're even paying your own college debt. Congratulations for taking responsibility, knowing it's on you, that you want a bigger, better future and you're going after it. But what if you did all that? You made those sacrifices, you're paying the bill, and someone else comes in, someone paid, and I'm not saying it's bad, I do it for my own kids, but you paid, all their college tuition was paid. And they went to every single party, and they partied all night. And they took stuff to stay up and took stuff to go to bed. And I'm not judging in any way. This is just a story. They did all that. And because they weren't at class, because they didn't work hard, because they didn't study, because they didn't make the sacrifices you did, they were failing. They were failing. And then, at the end of the semester, your professor came and said, I know you guys that have been working hard and got straight A's. I know you've been working hard, but this other group with D's and F's, they're really nice, and I know they didn't do the work, and I know they partied. Let's do this. Let's give everyone a C+, just so we can make it even. Let's give the participation trophy to everyone because they're here. How the heck would you feel? You would be so pissed that you put in the work, you did the effort, you put in the effort, and all of a sudden you're getting penalized, I should say, because you did the work and someone else didn't? Think about this. Isn't it how it is sometimes in life and in business? You go after your dreams. No one knows that you had to go against your family and friends calling you crazy, that you had to raise the money or put money on credit cards, or you had to stay up all night, week after week, trying to figure this out. You had to work on your own personal development because you wanted to keep things moving forward when you were scared to death, when uncertainty was at an all-time high, when you felt imposter syndrome about an inch away or a millimeter away from robbing your dreams. You kept going forward. You failed more than once. You hired the wrong person. You kept moving forward. Finally, you get momentum. Finally, you start getting energies. Finally, you start hiring people. Finally, you start hiring new people and doing new things, and you start fueling the economy, fueling your own life, and then you hire more people and have more success, and things keep going harder, faster, stronger. And then you get to a certain point, and what do people say? Wow, she's so lucky. And why is she having that new car? And why did they move into that new neighborhood? And I can't believe that they joined that country club. Let's penalize them. They're wealthy, they're rich. It's like the modern day tax the rich because they don't pay enough, right? It's like, let's penalize them for the success they've done like it magically came out of thin air. Listen, let's stop being envious and start getting our own. Because if someone else can do it, so can you.
Rule number 2, be ready to make sacrifices.
Find someone playing the game at the highest level possible, online, my stuff, and get as much, you're here, get as much value as you can. But don't let what I'm sharing today, you might think, oh, this is all good, Dean, but I want to start making money on Amazon. That's what people think. Like, or, Dean, this is good, but I want to start flipping my first house doing a wholesale deal. And they're like bypass that, realize going upstream, this is the stuff you need. Because if you don't have the enthusiasm, you don't have the innovation, you don't have the power, you don't have the transformation of that heartache that doesn't drag you down. If you don't do that, if you don't do those things, then it doesn't matter if it's Amazon or real estate or online or anything else, it's not going to work. So just you being here right now is gaining you so much resources that took me 30 years to figure out. But there's other places. There's so many great videos online for free. Whatever it is you want to do, search out who the best are, find their videos, find their interviews, find their podcasts. And when you can sacrifice, and I mean it, sacrifice money for things that aren't fueling your life, save it up, and then get the next level deep dive courses or training, or go work for somebody for free on the weekends. You want to be a great real estate agent or a real estate investor? Find someone great in your area and say, I'd love to work for free for you on the weekends. Listen, it's success tax. I use that word all the time. Everybody wants that next level of life. Most people aren't willing to put the work in. Put the work in, because a little hard work now can mean a lifetime of abundance and freedom. I used to feel I had to prove myself all the time. But now, I don't feel like I have to prove myself to anybody at all, unless it's somebody that's a needle mover. Is it the deal I want to close, the partner I want to bring on, the money I want to make? Or the boss that you want to get the promotion from. If that's the case, then do it in a quiet, confidence way. Because here's what I know. Actions will show me if someone's a badass. I've had someone try to tell me, work really hard to prove it to me, and really they just put on a show. If you're here, I know that you're truly a badass. So here's what I'd say, is be the best version of you. Be the person you would like other people to be. You know, there's a great saying, it's Tony Robbins says in a relationship, if you're not sure, if you're like planning your escape, trying to get out of a relationship, he always says, why not try this? For the next 90 days, treat the end of your relationship like the beginning. Because sometimes if you treat the end of a relationship like the beginning, then there is no end. So what he always says is, spend the next 90 days being the exact person you would love your mate to be. Sometimes we're like, I wish they would give me more attention. I wish they were closer. I wish they'd ask questions. I wish they would listen. I wish they would wish. What about sometimes if we just be that person? Someone who listens more. You want somebody to listen more? Listen more. Someone has your back more? Have their back more. Someone that does the little things without recognizing? Do the little things. So sometimes we just be the person we want others to be, and they'll mirror us. Like, wow, I got this. And then Tony says, if you do that for 90 days and the person pushed further away and you're truly authentically, then maybe you got to decide, do we do counseling or do we end a bad relationship? Why not, instead of trying to prove yourself, why not just be the best version of you and be the person you would love them to be? And if they don't see that, then the hell with them. Maybe they shouldn't be in your life. And if it's someone you need for business, be the best version of you. And if they don't see it, then there's going to be someone else that does. Sometimes when you're trying here so hard and you're being the best version of you and this person doesn't see it, the person over your shoulder you didn't see coming taps you and goes, wow, I really like all that. What about us in a relationship, in business, and in life?
Rule number 3, stretch yourself.
I believe happiness comes from stretching ourselves. Now, there's a million answers I can give, but if we're not stretching and we're not growing, I mean, Ed, how many families do you know that, or people that you know that are trust fund kids? And I don't mean that in a bad way. My kids are going to end up doing something with what I do, but have everything they want, but aren't happy at all, right? It's like, you hear so many times a trust fund child will do too many drugs or not happy or multiple relationships, because I don't think they're stretching themselves. They're not finding a way to be hungry for something. And I think we all have to be hungry for what's next. You hear a million times, if you're not climbing, you're sliding. If you're not growing, you're dying. But it's not just words. Like, as two friends talking, I know that I get to appreciate and love life so much. Of course, you want to be passionate about what you do. You want to look into a bigger future. You want a compelling future. But the fact of the matter is, our growth comes from stretching, conquering our fears, right? We all know that our next level lives on the other side of the thing we fear the most. And I think when you take on things that are fearful, you move forward courageously, even though you're scared to death. Courage isn't a lack of fear. Courage is you're moving forward because you're afraid anyway. And during that journey, during that taking that courageous action, during the failure, during the time when your friends and family think you're a nut job, or you should be happy with what you have, or that job that you have is you should just stay there because that's what the norm wants. When you step outside of that, when you fail a little, when you stretch yourself, it's those moments that you stop and turn around and realize that you took uncomfortable action. You moved forward when there was no sign of evolving as a man, as a woman, as a husband, as a wife, as a father, as a leader. And I think at this phase of my life, I see that all the uncomfortableness that allowed me to get here was actually the thing that built my character.
Rule number 4, follow your passion.
You got to hear this. Most everybody listening right now, you've already surpassed the goals or dreams that you had for yourself when you were a kid. Even if you're not as far along as you think you would have been, I guarantee if you went back to your 17-year-old self and shared where you are, the things you've accomplished, the things you've done, the places you've traveled, the success you have, you're like, oh my God, we did all that. So when I say stretch, it doesn't mean that you haven't already done it, or you've done it a million times. But here's the thing, when you stretch, when you get to a point where you think you've arrived, or your brain thinks we've got here, I think that's the part where people get lost, because it's like, what's my purpose? Why am I here? What to do next? And I look at it, I have simple analogies, Ed. You grew up in the East Coast, so did I. And a lot of people don't know about lighthouses, light towers out in the middle of the water, especially off of Massachusetts, right? I picture, what was a lighthouse for, right? That was either to guide the ships to stay away from a certain area, or to bring the ships in when it was foggy and the ships were out catching fish, and you'd see a light tower, and you know the man that's in the light tower, and it's there for a purpose. It was a guide. Well, I have a light tower in my head, and what I say is, for me, that is my compelling future. Like my light tower, what am I driving for? Why do I still get up? Why do I still wake up at 5:30? I don't have to work anymore. I feel blessed. To say that from where I came from means a lot. It's not being braggadocious. It's like, I could quit, but what would be left? We grow, we find happiness and joy under that stretching, right? If we're going to use that as our model. But think about this. If you've already reached your lighthouse, if it was out in front of you and you got the relationship, you found the money, you got the job, you built the career, you raised amazing children, you're standing right next to your lighthouse. You're there and you don't know what to do. What I always think about on a regular basis, I know I'm using a simple analogy, is you got to take the lighthouse and you got to carry and put it 100 yards in front of you at all times in life. Because you need to be going towards that. You got to be working to get there. Now, here's the thing. What you have to realize is your goals, and I know I'm telling you stuff a lot of times you already know. I want to be a reminder service today. But the goals you had in your 20s, what success meant for you was completely different in your 30s. And what goals and what desires you had in your 30s are different than 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s. So we have to recalculate what success means to us. We have to throw away what doesn't serve us anymore, recalculate what success is, attach it to that lighthouse and put it out 100 yards and fight for it like you fought for your first 100 grand. Fight for it like you fought for your first relationship. And I've just found a way personally, and I know you have in your own way, Ed, is I fight to get to that lighthouse like I'm broke, like I'm in a bad relationship, like my kids are all hosed up. Like I don't look at, I'm a good dad. I look at it like, if I don't become a better dad tomorrow, are my kids going to live fulfilled lives? I look at it as, I have the most amazing relationship. I know you, Ed, you and I have had those conversations. I don't have an Instagram marriage. I'm in love with my wife. I fall in love with her more every day. I'd rather get shot in the head than be unfaithful to my wife. She's my everything. But if I just keep her as the lighthouse right next to me, I will take it for granted. I won't keep that spark. When I walk in a room, my wife looks at me like I'm the hottest guy on the planet, that she's not seen a man in 10 years. Still to this day, I get chills as I'm telling you. I walk in a room, my wife makes me feel so amazing, guys. If you've never felt that, work hard for it. It's like I'm candy to her. I don't even know why. Sometimes like, babe, you're so beautiful. Why? But I love it so much that I don't take it for granted. I stick it out. That relationship, I put it 100 yards out, and every day I'm fighting to be a better man. How do I listen more? How do I live into her heart? How do I support her as a mom or support in the business that she has? But I do that with business too. If I've accomplished this, and I want to tell you, in my 20s, I ran away from we have similar backgrounds. I didn't have money. My mom worked 3 jobs to make I lived in a bathroom for a while with my dad. I was running away from pain. I was disturbed with inaction. I was disturbed the way my parents lived, and I ran away from that. I'm not running away from pain anymore. I'm fine, so why do I still get up and fight? Because now I've taken that lighthouse, and for me personally, is I want to serve people at the highest level. I want to contribute to this earth. I want to help people that just need a hand up, not a handout. I want to partner with great people and be friends with Ed and Tony Robbins and great people like that to really impact the world. I'll probably give most of my money to charity. So I'm not fighting for another dollar, but I've moved the lighthouse in my head. I'm like, how do I help impact 100 million lives? And I fight for it like it's not going to happen. So that might be a crazy analogy, but I moved the lighthouse to be a better dad. I moved the lighthouse to be a better husband. And I wake up every day like, damn, I got a lot of ground to make up. That lighthouse is freaking 2 miles out.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. Rule number 5, know your why.
If you don't have a big enough want, a big enough why that you're fighting for, then all of it becomes monotonous. All of it becomes questionable. All of it becomes this thing that you just don't know where you're going. You look in the mirror and say, why do I want more? And I want to give you a little answer, or something to intrigue you today while I'm on my walk. Listen, thanks for coming with me on a walk. If you're listening to this, maybe it's not the perfect audio, but I hope it's a message that sinks into your soul. Because these are the things I wish someone would have given to me at an earlier age. Listen, I've been a study of personal development, a study of success, obsessed by it because I wanted to run away from a painful childhood, a broke childhood, watching my parents struggle. And in that journey, or along that journey, from reading books, from starting 13 different companies, through going through a divorce in my life, going through stressful times, and now being in the most fabulous time of my life, in my 50s, I realized the little things are the big things. In fact, the little things are everything. According to my dear friend Randy Garn, he told me that ages ago, and now I know it to be true. So again, I'm going to go back to that question. What do you stand for? So what's that mean? Let me just share my day yesterday. I want to tell you how crazy my day was yesterday. We have a live event, our company and my partner Tony Robbins' company and my multiple companies, we all work together to do a lot of things around the world. Yesterday we had an event going on when I'm recording this in the Australian time zone. Rocking it for Aussies. Tony was crushing it, and I spoke yesterday, all these great things, okay? But while this was going on a Sunday, I want to give you my morning. I woke up early, did a workout, got up about 4:45, did a workout, answered all my emails, got text messages, set the day up, did my little morning routine, and then I made my kids breakfast. My kids got up. Now, I have the most amazing wife in the world, by the way, who would make breakfast and do all these things. But I'm going to share something with you. This is going to make sense. This is not just about my busy life. There's a reason behind all of it. Got up early, made my kids breakfast. I took my daughter. She met a new friend, and my daughter wanted to go to a church, a kind of a youth group that she was testing out. So she met a new friend. I dropped her off at about 8:45 in the morning. She was going to breakfast with a new friend. I think the girl's in 12th grade. My daughter's in 9th. They went to breakfast, and they were going off to this new church. So that was cool. I raced back, grabbed my son. We had to run to pick some stuff up for his baseball. He wanted to practice a little because it was going to be his first time pitching in a baseball game in many years. He used to pitch, and now he's practicing again. He's getting back in the game of pitching. So we practice pitching. As we practice pitching, I race back. When my daughter's done, I grab her. We come back. I drop my daughter off. I take my son, and we drive about 40 minutes to where his game was. I dropped my son off. I hadn't even had time to shower yet, so I dropped him off because he practiced first. I'll tell you why I'm doing this. Drop him off because he had practice first. I race back home and take a shower. In the meantime, my daughter wanted to grab lunch with me. She goes, "You think we could squeeze in lunch, Dad?" Absolutely. We go grab a quick lunch. I drop her off at a friend's house. I race back up, and I watch my son play a doubleheader in 105-degree weather. Sweating, yeah, just sweating. Just picture what 105 is. And I was there for him pitching. I was there for him to get a hit. I was there for him when he didn't do so great, and he needed my support. I get done pitching, or my son gets done with that. In between, I'm running a live event in Australia, help running it. It's not on me. We have the most amazing team in the world, but I'm there answering questions, getting things done, making sure it's on phone calls. I'm waiting until my son's not up and walk kind of behind the trees and take a phone call and send some messages. I get done, grab my son. I call my wife, who's with my daughter and my little boy Luca, and I said, "Hey, we haven't been together. Let's meet at this great little Italian restaurant and have a nice Sunday dinner together." My wife calls me. I'm leaving the field with my son. My wife calls, and my son Luca, who's a year and a half old, is having a complete mental breakdown in the car, screaming like crazy. He's in the back seat, and they can't console him. And luckily, my little boy and I have this incredible bond. I said, "The heck with it. Park alongside the street. I'll come get you right now." I drove to where my wife was, parked my car, jumped in with her, consoled my son, and we drove to the Italian restaurant. We had an amazing meal together. We get done with our meal. I realized that day I'd spend so much time with kids, I haven't given my wife enough love, so I did something that really always makes her smile. I took the receipt when she wasn't looking, the extra receipt when you pay your bill, and I wrote her a little love note and told her how much I love her, which is true. I'm so proud of that woman and what she does. And I wrote her a little love note and stuck it in her back pocket as we were getting in the car. We get home last night, helped my son finish some homework that he didn't get done, went to bed, got up at 4:30 this morning. Now, I'm telling you this for a reason. Got up at 4:30 this morning, made their lunches for school today, and now I'm taking a walk talking to you. Now, today, it'll be rinse and repeat. Today, I'll bring them, I'll drive them both, I'll make them breakfast, I'll drive them both to school, I'll pick them both up from school. At 4 o'clock, I'll be catching for my daughter as she has softball practice. And tonight, my son wants to practice out in the backyard. Okay, so why all that? Because I also run 3 different companies and have hundreds of employees that rely on me. I try to be a good team leader and partner to those that work with me that are like family to me. I try my best to be a damn good husband, and I try to be someone that delivers quality content to you, those of you who would take the time to watch this video or listen to me. So why is all that important to you? You're like, great, you had a busy day. I have a busy day. I have kids, and we all do stuff. So big deal, Dean. I'm going to tell you why. Because I'm in a place where I can afford for someone to drive my kids around. I have personal assistants. We have someone that helps with our house. We have someone that could help with kids. So why the heck would I do all those things? Because I asked you earlier, what do you stand for? And here's what I know. At this age of my life, I have defined success down to the granular piece. In my life, I don't golf. I don't go to fundraisers. I don't go to parties. I don't go to happy hour. I barely go to dinner with any other couples. I don't hunt. I don't fish. I don't do much of anything. And it's going to sound like, ooh, boring life. No, I know what happiness means to me, and not you. I know what it means to me. To me, I want to be the best husband a man could ever be. I've messed up in the past. I'm not messing up this time. My wife looks at me like I'm the greatest thing on this planet, and I am never going to stop that look. I am going to do what it takes to become a better human, a better man, so that woman continues to love me. I know at the end of my life, that's number one. Number two, I know at the end of my life, I'm going to ask myself, did I do everything in my power to be around my kids, to understand them, to know them, to be on their level, to have real, deep, and transparent communication? Now that my two older ones are going through teenage years and my daughter's in high school, I know I need to be emotionally connected to them.
Rule number 6, find courage.
Think about even the little, what do you call them, parables? I don't know. No, it's not. Like phrases we heard when we were young. Look before you leap. But then there's another one that says, he who hesitates loses. We're like, do I look? Do I jump? What do I do? Here's what I want to tell you from my personal experience. I wrote this down for you guys. Get guided action. Learn from those playing the game at the highest level possible. But do less thinking and more doing. I'm not saying, now, let me be very clear. I'm not talking about trial and error without the knowledge. Trial and error without knowledge is like running on a treadmill and turning it from 5 to 7. You're going faster, but you're not accomplishing anything. Learn from those who've already been there. Get a mentor. Learn from me if you want the stuff that I'm good at. If you want to lose weight, find the best weight loss person. If you want to get in shape, find the best getting in shape person. Learn from them, take guided information, and then just take action. How many times, how long are you going to stand on the sidelines waiting for everything to be perfect? It's never going to be. It's never going to be the right time. It's never going to be a time when you're not scared. You have to find courage. Rob courage from the past, because I already know if you're watching me right now, you've already been courageous in the past. You already had stuff that scared the heck out of you and you still move forward. You already failed miserably and thought your life would never rebound, and it did. You've been courageous. Rob that courage from the past and take action today. Implement that courage into the present. In relationships and business. So I wrote, so obtain the knowledge you need to build confidence. But then don't get bogged down in endless questions, second thoughts, and circular analysis. If your heart is telling you to act, if your subconscious is telling you to go for it, stop overthinking and start taking action. How many places in that area, how many areas of your life does that apply? Start taking action. Start failing. Start figuring out what not to do if you have to. Learn from your action. Get in the game. You can't score a touchdown in the game of life if you're on the sidelines thinking, well, if they have the ball, should I play defense or should I play offense? I don't know, should I be a wide receiver or should I be I mean, I'm using football analogies and I don't even know football that well, but should I be a lineman or maybe a quarterback? Or maybe I should play tomorrow's game because I'll be more prepared tomorrow. You know, I should read up tonight on how to play football at the best level. In fact, I have a friend that's really good at football. I see him in about a month. So when I see him, I'll ask him. And then maybe I could play a game. Well, by then, the season will be over. So maybe I could start next season. You know what I'll do? I'll eat better and I'll start working out. So by the time next season comes, I'll be in better shape and I'll have worked out and I'll have eaten better. And then I'll have read that book and I'll talk to my friend. And next season will be perfect. Next season. But see how life goes? That's what we can do. That's overthinking. That's paralysis caused by overanalysis. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. A lot of times that's just your subconscious wimping out and giving you excuses to push off your courage to take action. You know when you should take action? Now. Not tomorrow, not next month, not next year. Now.
Rule number 7, create momentum.
What are you going to do in the next 24 hours to create momentum? Doesn't matter where you are. It matters where we're going. So what are you going to do in the next 24 hours to keep the momentum moving forward? Then what are you going to do in the next 7 days? Right? You have to write you can just write down the numbers and come back and do this exercise. But next 24 hours, next 7 days, next 30 days, next 60 days, and next 90 days. I would do a 24-hour, a 7-day, a 30-day, a 60-day, and a 90-day plan of what are the outcomes. What are you going to accomplish? Next 24 hours, I am dedicating the time. I'm going into my journal, and I am going to dedicate times, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I am absolutely working on this. That's all I need to do. That's 24 hours. What am I going to do in the next 7 days? I'm going to dial in my dot, and I'm going to start laying out my modules. Okay, what are you going to do in the next 30 days? I'm going to record it. I'm going to film it. The next 60 days, I'm going to be up on mastermind.com. Next 90 days, I'm going to start building my Facebook group. I don't know what it is, but take the uncomfortable action to commit yourself to these, put a deadline, and let's do the work and make this happen. Here's the thing. I want to be here for you, and I'm going to be here for you. I'm spending more time with these groups than any time in my life, but I still can't do it all for you. You need to take uncomfortable action. You need to know that there's nobody coming to save us. No one coming to save you. No one coming to do it for you. Doesn't matter if you're liberal, conservative, Republican, Democrat, in the middle, the right, the left, super religious, super Christian, super spiritual. Don't believe it all. It doesn't matter where you are in all the spectrums. There is nobody coming into our home and saying, I know it's been a little shaky, but I got this. Don't worry about it. It's on us. And how liberating is it when we know it's on us? Even if you have disabilities, even if you're looked at, like anything that you have that you feel is a negative, it doesn't matter. Anything you feel it's a positive, it doesn't matter. We're still the ones that make the decisions, and we're the ones that move the needle because no one's doing it for us. We want to change the world, we decide we're going to change it. We want to change the economy in our home, we have to decide. We want to change the amount of time we spend with family, or live into our true purpose, or be the woman or God or man God designed us to be. No one else is doing it for us. But what we can do is what you're doing. Gain capabilities from people who've already been there. Be a part of a group bigger than yourself. You already got the capabilities. You're already a part of a group bigger than yourself. You already got the support of this amazing family. You could come in here and say anything you want, and this group will support you. You have all the ingredients. So what's left? You. You have to decide that I'm going all in. And what I would say is when you do your 24/7, 30, 60, and 90-day breakdown, what you should do is add two things. I would love for you to add, so let's just say you did 24/7, 30, 90, and you make a list of these things. Underneath, I would say, how will it feel when you accomplish it? How will it feel when you accomplish what you put your mind to? On a scale of 1 to 10, how does it feel when you accomplish something you put your mind to? I see you guys mouthing a 10, right? It's a 10, holding up your hands. It's a 10, right? Okay, but then I want you to do one more thing. After you say, how will I feel? I'll feel confident, I'll feel courageous, I'll feel fulfilled, I'll feel I can do anything, right? You write down how you'll feel. But underneath that, I want you to write down how it'll feel if you don't.
Rule number 8, be confident.
I really analyzed everything that robs my confidence. This is going to sound like, ooh, I'm glad you got Dean on the show. He's so smart. But when is the last time you analyzed the things that rob your confidence and decided to never do them again?
Wow.
And analyze the things that build your confidence and do more of it. If you run a company, you figure out your marketing. What's not working, do less. What's working, you do more of it. Confidence is the same way. And here's what I know. I had dyslexia in school. I wasn't good at reading. I barely got out of high school. I didn't go to a day of college. I just couldn't wait to get out of class because school was really difficult for me. And I remember judging myself by that scorecard. My friends are smarter. They can take Algebra 2. I can't even get through Algebra 1. I failed accounting. And reading a book is almost impossible for me. And I can remember looking through that lens of the things I wasn't good at. And there was a time in my life, and it's what we're taught, is to work on our weaknesses, to get better at what we're not good at. And I have to tell you, I took a concept, Ed, to a whole nother level. Here's what I say it just like it is. Screw what you're bad at. Stop doing it and get amazing at what you're already good at. So we all have a gift. We all have a unique ability. We have a core competency. And what I've known, what I've worked on, especially in the last decade of my life, is I know what I'm good at, and I just want to keep getting better and be the best at it. And I know what I suck at, because when you work on things that you're not good at, or overwhelm you, or confuse you, there's no way your confidence gets boosted. You feel inferior. So my confidence comes from knowing that if I'm communicating with someone, if I'm sharing, if I'm writing a book, if I want to impact someone's life, if you turn on a camera, I love to do all those things. I love to live in someone's heart and understand what they need and deliver it to them. But if you tell me how to do an Excel spreadsheet or figure out accounting or so many things that I'm horrible at, man, that takes away my confidence. So I'm going to tell you a quick story because it's worth this. We both have done high-level masterminds, and I had high-level mastermind. I had this great guy, Tom. He was probably about 65. This is probably a decade ago. And he's sitting around, and we're going through, what are the things holding you back from your next level? And this guy was already doing really well with what we were teaching him, and he was doing great with real estate, and he was on his 10th property. And it gets to Tom, and he says, you know, Dean, what I need help in really is being organized. I am so sloppy. He's like, I could clean my car and it's a mess. I can clean my home office, it's in a mess. So what I'm doing tomorrow is I am going to Home Depot or Office Max, and I'm getting filing cabinets. This is how long ago it was. And I'm going to organize and put the little labels. And he got back to me. He's like, so what do you think? And I said, Tom, can I be honest? You're going to be sloppy and disorganized for the rest of your life.
Right.
But who gives a crap? I said, Tom, I said, did your parents tell you that when you were young? He said, yeah. I said, how about your teachers? And I watched him get real serious. Like, this was something he carried. He's like, my wife says it now. And I said, see, you're carrying this weakness. Who cares? How about this? Tom, what if he was flipping houses. I said, what if you flipped one extra house a year? And you hired someone to make you the most organized human on the planet. Now, this is a much longer conversation. He got tears in his eyes because he let go of something he had been holding on to his whole life that kept him smaller. I watched his chest come up, his shoulders went back. And I said, have someone come in your house, have someone organize your bills, and get great at what you're already good at, one more property. And I know that's a silly analogy, but I want to tell you right now, identify what you're good at and go all in on it. And eventually, if you're not already doing, pay somebody to do the things you suck at. And that's how we get good.
Rule number 9, find the best mentors.
I tell my kids, if they're going to go to college, that's fine. Truthfully, I'd rather them not. I don't care about college unless they want to be doctors or scientists or lawyers and that, then they need it. But if they want to be an entrepreneur, which I hope at least one of them will, I'd rather them not go to college. I feel like it's a waste of 5 years. That's just some of you might get offended by that, but I think college has just gone in the wrong direction. I see these kids getting out of college with $100,000 in debt, and they learned how to memorize shit. And they come for job applications, and I hire in the last, I don't know, and it's not everybody. I got some great people that went to college too. But based on values and hunger, I think there's so much more. But my whole point is, I don't want my kids to be someone who doesn't go to college and sits around and hopes to get a job. No. I told my kids they have two options: college, or they have to research. They take a gap year and research I go and work in different places to find out what they like, what they could be passionate about, what inspires them. And then once they figure that out, they have a year to figure that out. Then they have to go search out the best person in that field. They want to be an architect. Find the best architect on the planet. You want to be an engineer. You want to be, maybe that takes schooling, but you want to be in fashion design. Go find somebody amazing, and you have to work for them for free for at least a year. And then the second year, if you need to, do it a second year. And find a mentor, someone they can kick ass for, and learn from somebody already playing the game at the highest level possible. So you have a mentor with me. I want to be as best I can, but I know we don't get to meet in person. So find somebody playing the game at the highest level possible in the field that you want to, and offer your services. Offer to help them. Don't ask for a job. Offer to help them, and see if you can find a mentor. I know we have some great people here in my office that could go other places and make more money, but they're here because they know I'm mentoring them and their future is set, and eventually they'll make more money here than any place else. So I look for great people who want to be mentored, and most successful people do. So make an impression, help them, and they'll give you the opportunity to help them back.
And rule number 10, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is get honest with yourself.
I want to go over an exercise that I've done hundreds of times in my life. One that maybe you've heard before, maybe you've done a variation of it, but I want you to have complete clarity in this shifting world. Again, the world is opening back up. It may never be exactly the way it was, but I know this: a lot of people are going to be left behind, and a lot of people are going to thrive. And what's the difference? Two things: having the tactics, the tools, and the ingredients that show you how to thrive, to create success, to impact the world, to be a part of an industry that's a revolution that's growing. You need those tools and tactics, but we also have to go upstream and anchor in those reasons why. So we have an emotional attachment, or else we'll just give up and just wait for someone else to fix it. And then you'll lose ownership. And I don't think that's acceptable to any of us. So before we get to some tools and tactics, let's go upstream a little. And let's talk about this clarity exercise that I've been doing for over a decade, hundreds of times, and I want to give it to you. And it starts with you being completely honest with yourself on where you are right now in history. Where are you after COVID? Where are you that the world has changed? Where are you with your confidence? Where are you with your income? Where are you with your career? Where are you with your happiness around those things? Where are you with your relationship? Where are you with your health, your connection to a higher power? There's lots of things we can use this tool for to get completely honest, because let's just say it like it is. All change starts when you're brutally honest, that you're disturbed by standing still. You're disturbed by inaction. Think about it. That's how we move. That's how the rocket gets off the ground, is being disturbed with leaving your life the way it is. So unfortunately, you're like, oh, now I'm listening to this podcast and I'm going to get disturbed. Yes, because if you're agitated, you move, right? So let's pick your career, your income, what you do for a living. Where are you with that? Are you happy with your career? Are you happy with the business that you started? Are you happy that you started the business, but it's not really going where you want? Listen, we all make decisions for one of two reasons. We're either moving away from something painful, or we want to move towards something pleasurable, right? We either have to get out of this job, or we lost our job, or it's just toxic, or it's not making me the money. I have to move. Or life's okay. It's not bad, but you know you have another level. You know God designed way more for you than you're doing. And the inaction of either one of those should disturb you, either away from the pain or towards the pleasure. So at any time, you could stop and write this down, or come back at another time, or type it in your phone. If you were being completely honest about your income, your career, what you do for a living, starting the business or not, any of those, if you were completely honest, where are you? Because all change starts with a starting point, right? All directions on your GPS, you need the starting point. Where are you is the starting point. Now that the world has shifted. Sometimes, things like COVID pull back the curtain and make us really analyze our lives, and we don't want to go back to who we used to be. I get it. I see it every day. Okay, the next thing, if you know where you are now, then we have to decide, where do you want to go now, right? Now, where do you want to go? That sounds like an obvious question. I want more success. I want more happiness. I want more joy. If it's not defined, if it's fuzzy targets don't get hit. We need a definitive plan. We need to know exactly what our compelling future is. We need that lighthouse to drive towards. And what is that for you? Most people know what they don't want. That's just the true story. Most people know what they don't want. They're avoiding potholes. They're driving away from problems, but they're not driving towards where they want to go. If you and I jumped in an elevator together and I said to you, hey, it's a year from now and it was the best year of your life, what's that look like? Where do you want to go? Would you be able to literally in 4 or 5 sentences tell me where it is you want and where you want to go? Or would you go, wow, good question, Dean. Let me think about it, because that's what 90% of the people say. I've been asking people for over a decade. Good question. Let me think about it. How do you know? How can you get to where you want to go if you don't have your GPS on where it is you want to be? So here's what you do. Let's pretend it's a year from now, and it's been the best year of your life. Not looking forward through the year. It's a year you're looking backwards and like, oh my God, I feel amazing. I look amazing. My confidence, my courage is through the roof. I'm vibrating. My cheeks are rosy. I'm alive again. What had to happen for that to be the case? How much money are you making? What industry are you in? Did you quit something? Did you start something? Did you scale something? Right? Of course you should do this with your relationships, your life, your health, relationship with your children. All of that matters, but pick one for now. Where are you? If we're going career, income, what you do, starting, scaling the business, where are you with that? It's a year from now. It's the best year of your life. Are you in the information industry and you're selling products, 100 of them a month, making $10,000 a month? I don't know what it is. Or are you impacting lives? You're really changing those that need it. You're selling yourself through service. You're helping people go faster. Or you finally got that company off the ground, or that invention is working, or you're leading a team. I don't know what it is, but you do. So stop this video, stop this audio at any time you want, and really decide if it was a year from now and it was the greatest year of your life, what does it look like? You can bucket it: career, income, your business. You could do health and life and love and happiness and your relationship with God. You could do all of them. But this really helps us create the bridge, right? We're on one side of the ravine. That's where we are. Our next level of where we want to go is on the other side of the ravine. Now, before we get to how to get over there, we have to build the enthusiasm, the energy, the stamina to not quit until we get over where it is we want to go. So if we know where we are and then we know where we want to go, the next most important thing and the most important thing to shift your life is, why do you want it? Why do you want to have more freedom? Why is it that you want to sell more courses, sell more training, start the business, scale the business, make more money? Why? Is it just to have financial freedom? Not usually. Is it just to have money in the bank? Not usually. Is it just to get the Lamborghini and the Rolex? Not usually. It's always way deeper than that. You don't know it until you feel it ding your heart, till your heart goes, oh, it crunches, it aches, you feel it ping. When you feel that, you know you're in your true why. For me, when I dug into this decades ago, I realized my true why was that I didn't want to go backwards. I didn't like being broke as a kid. I didn't like wearing hand-me-downs. I didn't like go to school sometimes and not have lunch money and pretend I wasn't hungry. I didn't like watching both my parents work hard, 3 jobs, my mom 3 jobs, my dad 2 jobs, to not have anything. I'm not going back there. I don't like it. There was nothing good about it. Money was the thing that ruled my parents. I feel blessed that by the time I was 32, I retired both my mother and my father. What a blessing I was able to do that. But I don't want to go backwards, and I'll fight for that. I also want my kids to have choices. I don't want 2 entitled children, 3 entitled children. My little one, Luca, is a year old right now. I don't want entitled children or brats, but I want my kids to have choices because I didn't feel like I had choices as a kid. So for me, it doesn't mean this is your why. This is my why. This is the one that dings my heart. But my main reason why I want next level success and abundance and impact the world and make a difference is because I want to be in control of my life. I want you to look through the lens of the things we do or the things we could be doing when someone else is watching. So think about it this way. I'm in the happiest relationship of my life. I'm married to my best friend. I think she's the most beautiful woman in the world. I fall more in love with her every day. But that wasn't always the case, and I'm not going to go deep in it because I shared with some of you. I messed up on past relationships. I went through a divorce, and I could say that now because I'm in this great place, but it wasn't fun, especially wasn't fun for my children. Right? It scared me to death. I had anxiety, like the worst anxiety I'd ever had in my entire life, like crippling anxiety when I was worried about my kids and would they be able to adapt and would they be fragmented and would they have to be one person for their mom and one person for their dad and I worried about everything possible. But do you know what the one thing that allowed me to finally make the decision? And my ex wanted the relationship over too. It wasn't a one decision. I had lived in the guest room for a long time, and we found out a way to be co-parents, and everybody's got their story, right? But I have to tell you, this question, the question I want to ask you guys and what I'm going to talk about today is, you know the one thing that really made the difference? It had been years, I mean a whole handful of years, since at least 5 years, since we gave each other a kiss, held hands, were romantic, slept in the same room, and all those types of things. Listen, I never talked about relationships back then. I talked about business, marketing, impact, sales, personal development. I didn't talk about relationships because mine wasn't so great. We had a good friendship. We never fought. But you know what got me? Is a dear friend of mine said, I got to ask you something, Dean. I feel like you and the mom of my children, you guys are doing something. You think you're keeping this all together for the children. Right? When they grow up, how would you feel if they had the same exact relationship you guys are in? And that freaking floored me. It floored me. She said, you think you'd want your daughter not to be in a relationship where you're friends and there's no hand holding, there's no love, there's no, we go to a restaurant and I sit with one and you sit with the other and all this kind of stuff. And when he said that, I literally went and talked to my ex and shared that with her, and she said, we have to end this. And we figured out a way to do it amicably, and we put the kids first, and she's a dear friend, thank God, it worked out in a really amazing way for everybody. She's the happiest she's ever been in her life. The happiest, right? And so am I. But I have to tell you, looking through that lens of no more bullshit, do I really want my kids to emulate and be in the same situation? Now my kids get to see their dad in love every day, hold hands every day, kiss every day, walk in the room, and my wife is the most important human being on this planet to me, right? They get to see this connection, and I watch my kids light up when they see their dad holding hands, kissing. They're like always smiling, always laughing, and they see what's possible by example. So I'm sharing that with you because I want to frame this day as, what about in your career? Are you in a job or in something that's not kind of filling your soul or allowing you to make the economic impact on your family that you'd like? But it's good enough. It's okay. I mean, you'll start that business sooner or later. You'll launch KBB when time allows, or you'll get there. But for now, it's okay. And I'm not saying go out and quit, but what I'm saying is, looking through that same lens, would you want your children to be in that same situation? Right? Like the $1 million racehorse. Why is it okay that you want to give everything to your child? I know I do. I want my children to be richer, smarter, better looking, happier, joyful. I want them to be 1,000 times better than me. I want them to go, oh, Dean was 1.0. His kids are 4.0. His grandchildren are 6.0. Oh my God, by the time I get to my great-grandchildren, I want them to make fun of what a pathetic weakling loser I was. Like, that's what I hope, right? If we want that for them so much, and if you're not a parent, it's okay. You can still feel those same emotions. You can understand what we're talking about here. If we want that for them, then why the hell don't we deserve it for us? Right? Like, how do we pierce this heart? How do we pierce this self-doubt? How do we pierce the thinking that we have that got us here? Our best thinking got us right here. It takes another level of thinking, another level of passion, another level of feeling uncomfortable and being disturbed with where you are to move. It's the spaceship. It takes all the energy to get it like 100 feet off the ground. Once it's out of the atmosphere, it hits a little button and goes fast. But it takes all that energy to get off the ground. So my goal in some of my trainings each month is to give you that burst of energy to get done today and go, screw it, I'm freaking doing this. Like, nothing is going to stop me. And I know so many of you are massively successful. This isn't about, oh, you're pathetic and this. It's about where you are. You know there's another level. That's all it is. And it doesn't mean that it's never enough. Listen, God didn't put us on this earth to settle. I think at the end of our life, if we have the opportunity to talk to our maker, he's not going to say, I'm so glad you found your groove at 24 years old and kind of settled for another 70 years. Like, that's not what he wants. That's not what we're designed for. I always say Dale Carnegie's quote, my favorite one by him. He said, the biggest plight of the human race is knowing you have more potential and you're not using it. Like, you say that, you're like, yeah, yes, right? So how do we trick ourselves into knowing that we deserve this? We deserve to take uncomfortable action, to fail forward and to figure it out. Because if you think about that, how are we with, I know this is far away from business and stuff, but how are we with kind of our inner peace? Like, making amends with ourselves. We help our kids solve problems. We help our kids not have regrets. We help our kids not have enemies or let go of pain. Like, maybe I'm wrong, but like wherever we are, we want what's best for them. We know, we've studied it. Well, simultaneously, internally, you might be fighting with yourself and still have that person that you need to forgive, or forgive yourself for the mistakes in the past, or forgive yourself for procrastinating, or forgive yourself that you were scared up to this point, or forgive yourself that you screwed up the relationship. It was you. We want our kids to forgive themselves. We want them to forgive others. We want them to work on being grateful and having gratitude. And simultaneously, we wake up sometimes and our guts are spinning while we're helping someone else. Is it true? So if that's the case, why are we waiting to fix this in the next generation? You got a lot of years left on this earth. Let's fix it with us. Remember, like, just think, this is what I try to do all the time, is if I stay this way, my kids are going to be that way. I literally punish myself that way. Because if I stay this way, they're gonna be this way. There's nothing I can do to change it, right? Another thing I wrote down is like, who are we when no one's watching? Like, we think we can put this facade on in front of our children, right? It could be children, it could be spouse, it could be partner, it could be friends. But we get to put this face on in front of other people, right? But then who are we when no one's around? Because I still believe our kids become who we are when no one's around. I think kids are the biggest lie detector, bullshit detector, excuse my language. They just feel who you are and they become it. Some of you are going slow. It's okay. Just keep moving forward. Be a better version of yourself today than last week, last month, last year. That's all we can ask. Because when you stop that, when you cross your arms and just hope the outside world gets better, that's when the world eats your lunch. And, we're just not having that. Hey guys, so I'm taking a little walk a little later in the day today. A little hot out here, but it's getting better here in Arizona. Appreciate you guys so much. Seriously, there's so many incredible comments every single day. Okay, today, here's a quick message for today. I gotta be honest with you. I went over a decade without watching the news because I don't like to do anything in my life that robs my confidence or makes me feel scared, robs my courage, robs my desire to move forward. I do like being a little blind to it sometimes because then I can focus on me. I can change the world if I change things in my family, change things in my home, my community, my town, with my team, the people I get to impact, right? Getting sucked into the news, man, it could really get you, right? But it's not just the news in my life. I try to do everything, and I know if you guys know anything about me, or what I teach at least, is that I do everything in my power to feed the inner hero that lives inside of me, and everything in my power to crush, kill, and destroy the inner villain. That inner villain's really just self-doubt, worrying about what's going wrong. None of you have ever done that, right? Neither have I. You've never started with one thing that could go wrong and it snowballed into more and more and more, and finally you feel almost paralyzed, like stuck, right? Yeah, we've all done it. So it's our job to crush that inner villain and evoke and empower our inner hero. Name it whatever you want. I just give it silly names because it's easier for me. But I gotta tell you, I want to be completely transparent with you. I got a couple dear friends that are smart as heck. You would know both of them if I mentioned their name, and they're really worried about our future, and I am as well too. Living here in America, and some crazy things going on, from COVID to so many other things. Doesn't matter where you are on the spectrum of conservative, liberal, Republican, Democrat, moderate. It doesn't matter where you are. It's a little crazy time in America. We could admit that. So I try not to get sucked into it because I feel like the only way I can make an impact is be the best version of me and contribute that way. But I have to tell you, this weekend, I got sucked into a rabbit hole of reading obsessively. Now, when I say read, you got to really look at things objectively. Because in our world, here in America, at least if you're watching someplace else, we have two different kind of news organizations. There's Fox News and there's everybody else. And depending on what you watch, it is the two completely different stories in the world. I'm not telling you which one you should watch or who you should be. I'm just telling you it is like the sky is blue. No, it's not. The sky is green, or like completely different worlds. So you could go down a rabbit hole of either one, or you could really just dive in and see where we are as a country, where we are, and wherever you live in the world, right? Same with you. But I have to tell you, I got sucked in this week, and it reminded me of those insecurities that most people feel, started worrying so much that it literally stalled me. It had me nervous about moving forward, nervous about doing the things that really can make a difference in my world, that can make a difference in the outside world. Yes, we have more control than you think. And it just made me realize, oh my God, this is one of the hardest things in the world, is to keep those elements out, or protect yourself from those things that rob your confidence, that rob your desires, rob your dreams. And here's the deal. You got to realize, when you feed your inner villain, the self-doubt, the imposter syndrome, with just a little bit, when you start thinking that, it's a snowball. It gets bigger and bigger. And guess what? With all that coming in, even if you think you're strong, if you just play a little small, if you hold back just a little bit, that's enough to let life pass you by. That's enough for you to miss out. So the reason I'm sharing this today is I woke up this morning and literally I took 10 minutes and I had like an exorcism. I like pushed all that out. It's true. And there's a lot of crazy things going on in the world. There's a lot of things I want to help with. There's a lot of things I want to change. And I will do my part. I will, from donating the money to helping contribute, to share, to be there. I will do everything in my power. I will vote. I will do all. But outside that, I have to focus on me. I have to focus on being the best version of me. I have to focus on protecting my family, delivering you capabilities, keeping you strong, not stuck in your head. We get to change the world by staying in our inner hero, to crush imposter syndrome, to crush self-doubt and say, yes, those things are going on, but I can't change it unless I become empowered, unless I become the best version of me. I literally had to go through a freaking toxic waste dump of where I let myself go this weekend, and now I'm back on track, thinking about a bigger future, knowing I can get it done, taking on hard things now so I can live easier later, to serve you at the highest level. Don't you miss out on you. Don't you let outside influences and people tell you how bad things are and it's not going to work. That's their journey. That's their life. God didn't give them your dreams and your goals. They gave them to you. We have to live inside and awaken and evoke our inner hero, the strong one, the confident one, the one that's courageous, that's already done so many incredible things in your life. We have to empower that version of us, because if we let the inner villain take control, that self-doubt, it will stop us dead in our tracks, and we'll think this is for other people. It's not the right time. We got to do something different. And 5 years will go by just like that. And then you'll be back looking for the self-education revolution. And we'll be here. This family will be here crushing it, but you'll be 5 years behind. Can't have that happen. That's it for today. Feed the inner hero. Crush the inner villain. Don't let the outside world control you. Be the thermostat of life, not the thermometer. The thermometer goes up and down based on what's going on around you. Thermostat, you get to adjust. That's how we win. It's how we help others. It's how we serve each other. For things to change, we have to change. For a breakthrough, we have to take the uncomfortable action to make that breakthrough happen. No one's coming to save us, right? But two things: being in Napa, looking at these vineyards, and being with my friend Brendan Bouchard made me realize what's allowed me to move on in my life is bigger thinking. See, so many times we're thinking a foot out in front of us. We're so conditioned and programmed by the outside world telling us what we can't do, or we're a dreamer, or we're not in that industry, or we're too old, or we're too young, or we're not smart enough, or I don't have enough experience, I don't have a big following, I don't have a big YouTube channel. We have all these things telling us, and what that does without us realizing it, it makes us think a little bit smaller than we should. And when I look back in my life, man, the greatest gift God, the universe gave me was I used to dream and did and still do dream bigger, to stretch my goals, to aim for the solar system and you'll land on the sun, right? So why did that? So I'm going to give you an example business-wise, but I'm going to give you an example here with these grapes. So it's pretty cool. You see these grapes here, and you know, how cool would it be to own a winery or a vineyard? I think that's so many people's dreams, just even if you don't like wine, just because it's so relaxing. But did you know that when you plant these, it takes like 7 to 8 years before they're really mature enough to produce the fruit that could make good wine? And then when you pick it and go through the process, it takes another 2 years, maybe 3, to process it, barrel it, store it, age it, put it in bottles, and ship it to stores. Think about that. Sorry, my right arm's getting numb. Think about that. Talk about big thinking. Talk about visionary thinking. It goes along with the lines of sometimes we have to plant apple trees, and apple trees, just like grapes, they don't produce fruit immediately, and they still take work. Look, they still had to plant these. They still have to irrigate these. They still have to trim them. They have to put this wire up. They have to make sure the bugs aren't here. They plant lavender so it helps with the fragrance. They have to do all that work for 7 years without results. But think year 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 15, 20, they get to create legacies. So 2 things I want to share today. 1, are you looking for things to happen quicker than they should? And then when they don't work immediately, overestimating what we can do in a year, underestimating what we can do in 5, are we saying, this doesn't work? I'm 3 months in, I'm 6 months in, I'm a year in, this doesn't work for me, I'm out. What if they said that about these grapes? What if they planted these grapes and were like, come on, you're 6 months old, give me the fruit, damn it, this isn't gonna work, burn it down. No, they know they gotta put the process, the time. So that's number one, is let's be real. Let's not make it better than it is, but let's not make it worse than it is. The second part of my message, how I started this, is it's time to stretch your goals, to think bigger. You could do more, be more. When we decided to start doing challenges, and we're doing another big one in August for you guys, you're all invited as our guest. We're going for 1 million people. When we first did it, the biggest challenge Tony and I heard of was 100,000 people. That was the biggest one, and everybody said, oh my God, 100. I said, let's go for 1 million. Screw it, let's go for 1 million. Everybody, even though Tony's got the greatest brand in history, he's been around for 40 something years, I've been doing this for 25 years, just 1 million people, think if they were in a stadium. We put 947,000 people in. This year we're breaking 1 million. I have no doubt in my mind. The only reason I'm saying that is sometimes the same problem that could make you 5 grand is the same amount of stress, worry, and angst to make you 50,000 or 5 million. The same output, the same mental thought, the same energy, the same overcoming obstacles to do your first sale is the same as doing 500 sales. I know, because I've been through this journey. I've been broker than broke, and I made my first sale, and oh my God, I still remember it. I also have done some pretty amazing things, and it's the same amount of work, the same amount of stress, so you might as well stretch your goals. So today, my quick message here, so I can run off and be with my family and jump on a plane with my 2 kids, is remember these grapes. They take time, but it's worth it. Number 2, stretch your goals. Stop playing small. Stop letting the outside world dictate how big, how fast, how much impact you can make. If you would have looked at me, dyslexia, barely got out of high school, no college education, no money, family told me I was crazy, would anybody have bet on me if I was a horse in a race? Hell no. Hell no. But I had a culture of progress. I dreamed big. I modeled people who've already been there, and I took the uncomfortable action. That's why we're family. That's why you're here. Text me below that you're all in. Text me a comment, a message. I'll read every single one of these below. It's our time. The world needs us. Your family needs you. And it's time for you to reach your full potential. When somebody tells me money doesn't buy happiness, I'm sorry, I'm going to say one bad word today. Bullshit. Bullshit. Money can serve in such a great way. Money is bad when people do bad things with it. Money can be amazing when you do the right thing. What I'm telling you today, and this is not what I thought I was going to share, put your oxygen mask on first. That's what you need to do. You need to take uncomfortable action. You need to push yourself. If you're a part of our mastermind family, welcome, be here. Push yourself. Stop waiting for someone else to do it. Take uncomfortable action. Do the things you need to do, even if it's at your own pace. You don't have to be Roger Rabbit going 100 miles an hour, but you gotta move forward. Don't wait. No one's coming to do this for you. Whatever you have, whatever capabilities, whatever part of our company you are, or anything you're doing, if you really want to make a difference, if you want to be in that place where you can have your oxygen mask on first, I'm gonna be really honest with you. It's not easy. I've doubted myself 1 million times. I felt like an imposter 1 million times. I've had my own family look me in the eye and say, stop being a dreamer, Dean. That's for other people. You didn't go to college. We don't come from that kind of money. You'll never be that. They don't say that when I land my own jet in my hometown and my whole family gets off my own plane, right? I don't say that to be a jerk. You don't even see me. Did you ever see me post a picture of my plane on my Instagram? I'm not the guy that holds up money or shows you in my plane or my house that's the house of my dreams. I don't do that. I don't want people to follow me because I hold stacks of money on a Facebook ad, right? I want people to know me for the heart I have. But I'm blessed to have more success than I ever could have dreamed possible. And I get to take care of the people I love. I got to put my own oxygen mask on years ago, and now I put it on a lot more people than you'd ever know. That's not all I donate to. We've done it in a lot of different areas. And this year I want to donate, I don't know about the feelings you have, but who felt that in their heart when I shared what I was able to do, right? Who in here has a desire to help other people once you're secure? Can I share something with you? And I want to share this today because it just feels on my heart. I'm going to tell you to be selfish. Be selfish. Be selfish for the next 3 years. Go get yourself strong. Go put your own oxygen mask on. Put some money in the bank. Crush your company. Be selfish with your time. Be selfish with your income. Be greedy on the amount of money you want to make. I'm telling you, be greedy, be selfish. You know why? Because if you go all in, if you stop thinking, I wish I could do more, be more, Go all in and make the money. Get secure and put your oxygen mask on, and what you can do in 5 years from now, what you can do in 7 years from now, what you could do in 12 years from now is unbelievable. But we need this moment of us. We need this moment of getting ourselves. So many of you I see right now are the most giving people you've ever, anyone knows. You're the person that gives the most. You know what you're doing? You're putting oxygen masks on everybody else and you can barely breathe. You're out there helping everybody. Let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. And you're barely breathing. You're like, here's an oxygen mask. Here's an oxygen mask. When you need to hold it to your face. I love the story of Andrew Carnegie, right? What did Andrew Carnegie at a certain pace of his life? You know what he said? I'm going to spend the first half of my life making a ton of money. And I'm going to spend the second half of my life giving it all away. Why are you doing this? Maybe it's just because when it's time, you have the gas in the tank. You have the ability to do it, right? I'm not doing it for the money at this phase of my life. I'm just being honest. I'm doing it for the impact. I'm completely obsessed with impact. Why am I here on a Saturday when I haven't spent time with my kids, my wife? I've been so damn busy. I'm here because I'm obsessed with impact. I'm obsessed with delivering this message for you. If you get one thing out of this today that shifts your health, your energy, your vitality, then I did my service here on a Saturday, right? But why do I want that energy? To be able to do this. You watch UPW? Some of you did. You see Tony on stage? Tony looks 60 years old. The guy went 13 hours on day 3, or something like that. 12 hours on day 3, 10 hours on day 1. How? Because of some of these things we're sharing with you today. Not rocket science. I don't have the book on vitality and youth, and I don't have any magic needle that goes in your arm and makes you young. I don't have a magic pill that gives you, I don't have a magic energy drink that does it for you. I'm just giving you the stuff that you could do. Everything I'm sharing with you today, you have all the ingredients you need right inside of you, right? So we're gonna dabble between mindset and strategy and tactics, right? So why do you want it? I have some whys. So I have gas in the tank when I need it. There ain't nobody that outworks me. No one. And I love it. Maybe I get significance through that. Okay, I get a little significance that I can outrun, outwork, outthink. And I don't mean think 'cause I'm the smartest guy in the room. I mean clarity of thinking. You know how cool is it that I can go 12, 13, 18 hours and still be freaking crystal clear at 51 years old? Like crystal clear at 2 o'clock in the morning when everybody's like, I can't even think straight. It's my 5th cup of coffee. I'm like, no. How does that happen? that's not the way I was born. I developed this. I created this. It's like a power plant. A power plant doesn't have energy. It creates energy. These little things that seem like little things are actually things that creates my energy. Everybody asks, how do you do it? Like this, okay? So why do you want it? And it starts with you being completely honest with yourself on where you are right now in history. Where are you after COVID? Where are you that the world has changed? Where are you with your confidence? Where are you with your income? Where are you with your career? Where are you with your happiness around those things? Where are you with your relationship? Where are you with your health, your connection to a higher power? There's lots of things we can use this tool for to get completely honest, because let's just say it like it is. All change starts when you're brutally honest, that you're disturbed by standing still. You're disturbed by inaction. Think about it. That's how we move. That's how the rocket gets off the ground, is being disturbed with leaving your life the way it is. So unfortunately, you're like, oh, now I'm listening to this podcast and I'm going to get disturbed. Yes, because if you're agitated, you move. Right? So let's pick your career, your income, what you do for a living. Where are you with that? Are you happy with your career? Are you happy with the business that you started? Are you happy that you started the business, but it's not really going where you want? Listen, we all make decisions for one of two reasons. We're either moving away from something painful or we want to move towards something pleasurable. Right? We either have to get out of this job, or we lost our job, or it's just toxic, or it's not making me the money. I have to move. Or it's okay. It's not bad, but you know you have another level. You know God designed way more for you than you're doing. And the inaction of either one of those should disturb you, either away from the pain or towards the pleasure. So At any time, you could stop and write this down or come back at another time or type it in your phone. If you were being completely honest about your income, your career, what you do for a living, starting the business or not, any of those, if you were completely honest, where are you? Because all change starts with a starting point, right? All directions on your GPS, you need the starting point. Where are you is the starting point. Now that the world has shifted. Sometimes, things like COVID pull back the curtain and make us really analyze our lives. And we don't want to go back to who we used to be. I get it. I see it every day. Okay, the next thing, if you know where you are now, then we have to decide, where do you want to go now? Right? Now, where do you want to go? That sounds like an obvious question. I want more success. I want more happiness. I want more joy. If it's not defined, if it's fuzzy targets don't get hit. We need a definitive plan. We need to know exactly what our compelling future is. We need that lighthouse to drive towards. And what is that for you? Most people know what they don't want. That's just the true story. Most people know what they don't want. They're avoiding potholes. They're driving away from problems, but they're not driving towards where they want to go. If you and I jumped in an elevator together and I said to you, hey, it's a year from now and it was the best year of your life, what's that look like? Where do you want to go? Would you be able to literally in 4 or 5 sentences tell me where it is you want and where you want to go? Or would you go, wow, good question, Dean. Let me think about it, because that's what 90% of the people say. I've been asking people for over a decade. Good question. Let me think about it. How do you know? How can you get to where you want to go if you don't have your GPS on where it is you want to be? Who could you be doing this for? When you want to get up and work out, when you want to take the run, when you want to just take a walk, when you want to say no to the unhealthy food, when your friends are like, oh, stop eating like a bird, stop eating like a cow, eat some real meat, eat some food or whatever it is. It's easy to go, they're probably right. I deserve it. I work hard. Or do you go, no, I'm doing this for my wife. I'm doing this for my husband. I'm doing this for my kids. I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this for my 70-year-old self. It's really hard to teach kids to do better things now so they don't get sick at 50, 60, 70. Really hard. They can't see that far in advance. But I talk to my kids like this all the time, and I know it sinks in at some level. It's like, do this for your 60-year-old self. You want to feel great? I mean, I have some dear friends I went to high school with. I love them to death. But 51 hasn't treated them so well, right? 51 hasn't treated them so well. This is not, I pray for them. But I remember when I used to make the harder choices, I always say, live the hard way now for an easier life later, or live an easy life now for harder later. I can remember times with some of the exact friends when I'd make healthier choices or different choices, or go to the gym after a night of going out with them and get home at 2 o'clock, and at 6 o'clock I'm at the gym. Like, you're crazy. Who's crazy? Like now they're like, I literally have one friend who's like, why didn't I listen to you? He's going through a really tough time health-wise, right? Same age as me. Harder now to live a better life in the future. So who would you do that for? So find a who and think about them. When you feel like eating wrong or making bad choices or not going to the gym, who would you do it for? What are you good at, or what do you love to do? That's the point of this. And then I want you to combine it with something. And again, I rambled there and went off on a family story, because I'm hoping at the same time you're thinking, what am I good at? What I like to do? We've spent so much time doing what we're supposed to do, doing what we're told to do, doing what we think we should do, doing what we think will take care of our family, think will protect us, that you forgot that you are a badass in so many things. What lights your heart up? What excites you? What makes you want more? What vibrates you? What do you do? And when you're doing it for an hour, you get more done than you do in a day or 2 days of doing something else you're not. I don't want you to think how you're going to get there. I don't want you to think how it's possible. Let's take real estate, for example. Do you love negotiating the deals, finding the deals, doing the paperwork, selling, buying? What is it that you love to do? I'm talking about the things you like to do, you're good at, that can be combined with the biggest check, and then both of those together are driving you towards your vision. That's what successful people do. That's what people in Strategic Coach do. That's what my top students that are here in my mastermind do. They know what they're good at or like. They continue to get better at it. And they keep saying no to the things they suck at. They know their vision, and they combine what they're good at and what they like to do with the things that can make them the check. And that's the things they do because that's going to drive them towards their bigger future, to where they want to be in a year. I hope that's clear. I think I repeated it a couple times, but that's one of the biggest secrets to success, knowing your unique ability and then actually utilizing it and not being stuck doing busy work, not running on a treadmill, not driving your Ferrari with no GPS. It's time to say no to the things that don't serve your bigger, better self, don't serve God, don't serve the universe, don't serve your family. I want to talk about enthusiasm will always outweigh perfection and preparation. I told you all that stuff about the things I'm not so good at for a reason. Because I got through life, the first part especially, by being enthusiastic. My enthusiasm outweighed that I'm not that intelligent, that I don't have a great IQ. All I know is there's so many people that will obsess on making sure everything's perfect before they engage, making sure everything is prepared perfectly, and years go by. You're much better off getting enthusiasm and jumping in the game and learning as you go. Jump out of the plane and hope the chute opens on the way down. Hope. Most of the time it does. You can't score a touchdown being on the sidelines, but you sure can if you're in the game. So I want you guys to give yourselves a break right now, because some of you, if it is real estate, you haven't made your first deal. You haven't talked to a seller or a buyer yet because you're thinking, maybe I'm not an expert yet. I need to get a little more prepared. I need a little more time under my belt. The hell with that. Get in the game, get enthusiastic, get enthusiasm, and just take action. Action creates momentum. Knowledge without action is just good reading, like we said before. And when you find enthusiasm, let me just back up. So where do you find enthusiasm? And here's what I say, is I borrow mine from the past. When I want to be enthusiastic, I look backwards on times that I was scared and still did it. On times when I thought it was going to go wrong, but I made it happen. On times where I had incredible accomplishments. At times where I felt amazing, felt alive. It could be something completely different. It could be a first relationship. It could be anything that lights you up. And borrow that enthusiasm and put it in today's time. Because what it does is it also changes your state of mind. Because here's what I know, when your enthusiasm is down, when you're thinking about everything being perfect, when you're thinking about one step at a time, are you in the right space to take action? When your confidence is down, do you take action? Or do you say, how about when your confidence is down just a little bit and you watch the news? Or you get a friend tell you, oh, stop dreaming, or the economy's gonna crash, or the market's gonna crash. If your confidence is down and your enthusiasm is down, how does that hit you compared to when you feel on fire? Right? When you're down and your confidence is just 10% off, you go, well, yeah, maybe things are good enough the way they are. Maybe I'll just leave it where it is. The hell with that. Borrow the enthusiasm from the past and attack each day. I do things the way I want to do. I want to make my own rules. I don't want anybody to tell me what kind of husband I can be. If I want to take off in the middle of the day and romance my wife because we have the most amazing relationship in the world. That might sound boring to you, or that sounds, but that's me. I will fight for that. I will die for that. That is my why. Being a leader to my incredible team that's like my family. Learning and growing and help impact the world. Help unite us and lock arms so we can help shift the world. How do we change the global economy? By changing the economy in our homes. How do we change the global conversation? By changing the conversation in our homes. We are the change. We affect the change. No one's coming to fix it. To me, that's my why. I hope you can hear it. I hope you can feel it. It comes from my heart. So when I'm standing on one side of the ravine and I see where I want to go on the other, before I even know how I'm going to get in there, I know my why, and I'm getting over there no matter what. If I got to get bloody, bruised up, fail, whatever it takes, I'm getting to the other side. Are you? Do you know the true reason why you're listening to this? Why you want another level? If you don't, go find it. I promise you, when you find it, nothing will stop you. Not a brick wall, not a steel girder, not dirt, a mountain, nothing. A mountain won't stop you when you know your true why. Don't get consumed by the busy work. Don't lie to yourself. Everyone, right here, come on, look in my eyes. Stop lying to yourself. We all do. I'm not calling you out without calling myself out. I lie to myself. I BS. I'm like, well, I was busy. I had to do this and then do that and do that. All it was my subconscious doing busy work, so I didn't have to dig into the hard work that actually moves the needle and can take me to a place of solution, resolution, and next level. So really identify, what the heck are you doing that's busy work? And what are you doing that can actually move the needle? to make you a better version of you, to create new revenue, to get the company going, to anchor in new success habits that actually shift your thinking so you can focus on what's right. How do you become the role model? How do you become the leader? That's how you get your butt off the couch. That's how you stop procrastinating. You have a dream, you have a desire, and when you're a certain age, you stop that dream. Maybe you got serious about a job and people put their arm around you and said, "You're finally growing up. I appreciate your responsibility." Really? I just threw my dreams in the toilet and you want to say you're proud of me? But it anchored that in. Oh, that's the right thing. My parents, my friends, my teachers. One more time. Screw that. They did it because they thought they were caring and loving you, and that's not it. You have to push past the fear. Listen, I don't like to always use me as an example. Let me just share Matt Larson, my top real estate students. Didn't go to college, got thrown out of college, tried one semester, they threw him out. Didn't have any money, grew up on a farm not his farm. His father managed another farm in a little tiny rented place, worked on a farm, went to be a machine shop worker, worked 70 hours a week in a machine shop, lived in a 300 square foot apartment, did all the stuff I'm telling you, got my courses, spent a lot of money on his education, and his family came to him and said, "Are you crazy? Real estate's for rich people. You'll never be able to do it." His girlfriend broke up with him because he spent lots of money on the education, said, "You're a dreamer." And he called us to literally give everything back. And we said, "Did you even try?" He's like, "No, but. All stories, all fear. All we said is, please go try it." That was like 3,500 real estate deals ago, millions of dollars generated, lives changed. He's a partner of mine. He's a great dude. He went to a whole nother level. He employs 70 people. Do you know what almost killed him? Was the fear of believing all the for lack of a better word, he was told all those years. It wasn't the real estate skills. It wasn't the real estate market. It didn't mean that it wasn't because he didn't go to college and he didn't have money, or he was in too small of a town or too big of a city or too hot of a market, or there's no good deals or bandit signs don't work. It had nothing to do with that. He almost quit because of the fear of breaking through, of listening to all the crap. What about you? Anything like that close ever happened to you? Of course it has. You might be thinking it right now. Dean, you want me to write down what I'm good at? You want me to write down what I like to do? That's not going to make me money. That's not true. Completely not true. I had dyslexia. I barely got out of high school. I was a car mechanic in my 20s every day, greasy hands and painting cars and sucking in fumes. If somebody would have said, yeah, that car mechanic in there that's all dirty with his mechanic outfit on, he's going to write multiple New York Times best-selling books. He's going to be best friends with Tony Robbins and Richard Branson. He's going to touch the lives of millions of people. You say, that guy? No, wait a minute. You're talking that guy over there, the one sucking paint fumes, painting the side of the car. Never. Right? So don't tell me wherever you are, you can't go to where you want to go. I'm giving you the keys. I'm giving you the principles. I wish someone would have told me this stuff earlier on. It doesn't matter if you're 20, 40, 60, 80, or 90. Today's the day you could start. Today's the day you could break through that fear. Today's the day you can realize what my vision is and how I can start saying no to stuff so I can work on my unique ability, so I can go to that next level. There is nothing more powerful than congruency to reach your full potential, to have confidence, to be courageous. You know, listen, we all have friends that say they want the passion back in their relationship. Does anybody here have a friend that would love passion or a connection back in a relationship, a friend that tells you? Anybody have a friend that tells you they want passion or connection in their relationship, but they're on Facebook looking up old high school boyfriends or girlfriends, DMing people when nobody's knowing? I know a couple people in my life that say they want in front stage, they want the connection, they want the love again, but when no one's watching, they're kind of doing the stuff that derails that. People who say they want to be in the best shape of their life. This is the year I want to be healthy. My kids deserve me to be healthy. But when no one's watching, they skip the workout, or they go to the gym, but they sit on their phone the whole time. And when they should order something a little healthier, they order something they shouldn't order. But when no one's watching, it's no big deal, right? And then they're telling their friends at lunch, I just don't know why the weight won't come off. I'm in the gym 5 days a week. I'm eating so great. BS. You're not doing the work when no one's watching, right? You say you want that business to thrive, to go to another level, but you did all the easy parts. And now you got to dig into marketing. You got to let your friends know you're going in this business. It's a little uncomfortable, so when no one's watching, you're working on your logo or the name of your site rather than the marketing that actually gets you out there, or the phone call you need to make to close the deal. But you tell your friends it's not working, but really, you're not doing the work you should be doing when no one's watching. You guys feeling me on this one? Congruency is so unbelievable, and that's where values come from. That's where character comes from. I am by far not saying I'm perfect in any shape, way, or form, but I have an obsession now, especially at this phase of my life. I want to be so congruent that if my wife, my kids put a hidden camera on me for a week and they watch it, be like, damn, he does the same stuff he talks about. I would love for you guys to see me at a restaurant having a conversation with my family. You're in the booth behind me and you don't know that I don't know you're there, and you get done and go, damn, that's the same guy I met when we were on camera. That is so powerful. And the reason it's the theme for my kids is, listen, 15 or 13, who has kids? Right? Raise your hand if you have children. In today's world, can they pretty much do anything they want on social? I mean, they could be online, they could find porn in 2 minutes, they could do a million things. At 15, I know my daughter has friends that already drink, already do some other stuff, right? They could lie about all of it, turn off their locations and figure it out. I have to train my kids give them the ability to understand is who you are when no one's watching, is who you really are. I said, you could act perfect in front of me, perfect in front of your teachers, but if you're doing the things when no one's watching, then that's you, God, the universe, your character. And my kids are far from perfect, but they understand core values because of that. So today, I'm taking a little longer as we start here this morning. I want to share with you that could be a theme, or come up with your own 2022 theme. But I want to do the work. When I think about that, when no one's around, I want to do the work to be a better. When no one was watching, for 4 days straight, I obsessed on what I was going to teach you today. It'll seem really easy, seem like it's just coming off my tongue. I have this whole thing laid out to get you the results you deserve, you desire, right? I did the work when no one's watching, so now when I'm front stage, it looks easy, looks amazing, but I really got my own notes and cheat sheet here. My daughter and son both pitch. They love winning games. You don't win on stage. You know when you win? You win when my daughter and son are out back. At 4:30 today, my daughter will be with her pitching coach, and she'll pitch for 2 hours. She'll pitch until her arm hurts. She does that on a regular basis, but when she goes and wins a game, it's because of what she did when no one was watching. So, did you ever hear that joke? It's a gambler who gambles nonstop passes away. He wakes up and all of a sudden he's in a casino. He's dressed to the nines, and every time he walks up to a slot machine, he puts in money. And he pulls the handle and money comes out. He's like, oh my God, I won. He goes to another and puts money in and pulls the handle. Oh my God, I won. And he keeps going, and all of a sudden he puts money in and he's just winning every time. And he puts money in and he's winning every time. Finally, he's got this big bucket of quarters or money, and he walks up to one of the people dressed nice, and he's like, oh my God. He said, I didn't think heaven would be like this. And the guy looked at him and said, who said you're in heaven? You see, we all think we want it easy. We all think we just want we want to open the gates and all the money and the happiness and the joy just pour out. Why, when people hit lotto, do they go broke? Because they had the resources handed to them, but they never found a way to be resourceful. You see, how we get resourceful is actually understanding that problems are the path to our bigger future. So if we handle bigger problems, we get bigger results. You cannot create your compelling future until you decide what your painful future is. Because this will get you, once you get around here, now all of a sudden, you're going up the loop. Like you projected, if I don't do crap, I'm gonna be stuck right here. But now that I felt that way, what would be ideal? What would be ideal? What's a compelling future for you? For me, in my relationship, Tony, I'm gonna give my credit to my boy, Tony. I've done all these things before, but he made me do it in front of him, made me go in the other room and do it. I took a piece of paper when it comes to relationships. I made a line down the middle, and I put on the left side what was an absolute must in the next relationship I have. And on the right side, I put absolute unacceptable. And I literally wrote down things that, I'm just being honest, I wrote down everything. I wrote down someone who loves my children. I know this will be hard. Someone who will love my children as if they're own. Someone who works on their personal growth. Someone who's a go-getter. Someone who knows that we're flawed and we're all trying to get better. I just wrote down all these things that I was looking for. Seemed like it was too good to be true. And I put what was not acceptable. Someone who doesn't have a big heart. Someone who won't accept my children. Someone who wants to fight with my ex or fight with other people. Someone who likes confrontation. I won't accept anyone who doesn't want to work on their health and their growth. I wrote all this stuff down. It seemed crazy. It was my compelling future. I stared at it and I looked at it and I felt so good, and it gave me my true north. I projected being alone and staying the way I was, and I also wrote down a compelling future. I write down a compelling future in my business all the time. Even if you're in a career and you're in a job that you like, or you're gonna start a business, or you're in a business, this is a time when people are uncertain. We must serve more, give more. If you have a product, make it better. If you do customer support, improve the customer support. I'm telling you, in times like this, the winners are the people that create. Now, I want you to hear the difference. What companies will go out of business are companies that are based on transactions only. Companies that'll go out of business are based on transactions only compared to based on relationships. Be a relationship business owner. Be a relationship marketer. Be in relationship when you sell. No matter what your product is, no matter what your service is, when you are a relationship-focused company or individual in your company and you want to go up the ladder of your career, when you focus on relationships, when you focus on listening to others, understanding where people are rather than just transactional, things change forever. Michael Gerber's book ages ago, I remember, and I'm going to paraphrase because I read that book a decade or more ago, is I remember saying, do you know what the difference between doctors being sued and not for malpractice? Anybody remember that in Michael Gerber's book? It was ages ago I read it. You know what the difference was? 8 minutes. Doctors who spent 10 minutes or less with a client were way more likely to be sued than doctors who spent 18 minutes or more. The only determining factor was a relationship, because they come into your room, doctor comes in, if you're a relationship, how you doing? You're not feeling so good, you got a temperature, oh, I think it's this, that, and the other thing, okay, take care and you're out. That's just a guy. Another guy comes in, says, oh my God, Isabel, how's your daughter doing? She went off to college, right? Oh, that's good. She liking college? Great. And they have a communication. 18 minutes compared to 10 is the difference between a malpractice lawsuit or not. So if you're in business, have a career, want to expand, this is the year to serve more, love more, go deeper. What has hesitation already cost you? Your family doesn't need you to hesitate. Your family needs you to be bold. The world needs you to be bold. Because at the end of the day, remember what I said earlier about that conversation with your maker? Would you rather say, I hesitated, I was a little nervous, I waited? Or would you rather say, I went forward even though I was scared to death and I failed for a while? Which one would you rather choose? Would you rather choose trying and failing or hesitation and nothing? Hesitation and nothing or trying and failing? Because if you try and fail, what are you going to do next? You're going to try again. And if you fail, what are you going to do? You're going to try again. And with Lauren, what are you going to do after that? I know Tony Robbins does this and I love it. You're going to try it again. And there's no way, if you continue trying, there's no way you don't get to the finish line. It's impossible. Those that don't get to the finish line just found a certain place where they say, enough, I'm not going to try anymore. I'm going to sit right here. And what happens? 5 years goes by just like that.
Because you made it this far in a video, I want to celebrate you. Most people start and don't finish. Most people never actually follow through. Most people say they want something, but they don't ever do the work to actually get it. But you are different. You are special. Believe Nation, you made it here all the way to the end, and I love you. So as a special celebration, if you put a hashtag believe down in the comments below on this video, I will showcase you and celebrate you somewhere on the screen in a future video because you are awesome. For 10 more amazing rules from Sean Stevenson, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
And within just a couple of minutes, their brain waves synced up. The frequency at which their brains were moving literally started to match. That happens all the time. You're syncing up with the people around you. The number one thing you can do to transform your health